The person sitting next to you right now makes half your salary but gets twice your respect. And it has nothing to do with their qualifications. The colleague who joined your company last month is already being considered for the promotion you've been waiting 3 years for. And it's not because they're more talented. The friend who always seems to get VIP treatment wherever you go together isn't richer, maybe the smarter or better connected than you are. The difference is simple, and it's going to make you angry when you realize how long you've been doing this wrong. There was a man who cleaned floors in a major corporation for 15 years. Every morning he walked through those glass doors in his blue uniform, while executives in expensive suits rushed past him without so much as a glance. But something was different about this man. When he spoke, people listened. When he made suggestions during safety meetings, the room fell silent. When new employees were hired, they were told to watch how he carried himself and learn from his example. His name was Walter, and he never once asked for respect. He claimed it through the way he showed up every single day. While others complained about their circumstances, Walter mastered his craft. While others waited for recognition, Walter became indispensable. While others hoped someone would notice their value, Walter made his value impossible to ignore. This is the difference between those who wait for respect and those who take it. And if you're tired of being overlooked, undervalued, and treated less than you are, then what I'm about to share with you will change everything about how you move through this world. The problem with most people is they've been programmed to believe respect is something that comes with time, with age, with titles, with achievements. They think respect is earned through suffering, through paying dues, through proving themselves over and over again to people who may never be satisfied. This is the biggest lie ever sold to the human race. Respect is not a reward for good behavior. Respect is not a prize you win after years of being disrespected. Respect is not something others give you when they feel you've jumped through enough hoops. Respect is a decision you make about how you will be treated. And then you live that decision every moment of every day. But here's what happens to most people. From childhood, we're taught to wait. Wait for permission to speak. Wait for adults to acknowledge us. Wait for teachers to call on us. Wait for bosses to promote us. Wait for others to see our worth. We become professional waiters, not in restaurants, but in life. We wait for our turn. We wait for our chance. We wait for someone to notice us. And while we're waiting, life passes us by. The system wants you to wait because waiting people are controllable people. Waiting people don't rock the boat. Waiting people don't demand better. Waiting people accept whatever scraps are thrown their way and say thank you. Waiting people build other people's dreams while their own dreams die in the waiting room of someday. Vincent learned this lesson the hard way. He was a brilliant young man with innovative ideas for his company's marketing department. Every meeting, he would sit quietly, hoping his manager would ask for his input. Every presentation, he would prepare amazing concepts, but wait to be invited to share them. Every project, he would do exceptional work behind the scenes, hoping someone would notice and give him the recognition he deserved. For 3 years, Vincent waited. 3 years of watching lesser ideas get implemented while his remained in his head. 3 years of seeing colleagues get promoted while he stayed in the same position. 3 years of going home frustrated, telling his wife that nobody appreciated his talents. Then one day, everything changed. Vincent walked into a company meeting, and instead of taking his usual seat in the back, he sat at the conference table. When the manager asked if anyone had ideas for the new product launch, Vincent didn't wait to be called on. He stood up and said, "I have a solution that will increase our market reach by 40%, and I need 10 minutes to show you how." The room went silent, not because Vincent was being disrespectful, but because they had never seen this side of him. His confidence was magnetic. His certainty was compelling. His presence commanded attention in a way that years of quiet excellence never had. Vincent presented his idea with such conviction and clarity that the entire strategy was approved on the spot. Within 6 months, he was promoted to senior marketing director. Within a year, his innovative approach had become the company standard. What changed? Vincent stopped waiting for permission to be valuable and started acting like the valuable person he had always been. He stopped hoping for respect and started commanding it through his behavior, his presence, and his refusal to remain invisible. This is what you must understand. The world treats you exactly how you train it to treat you. If you train people to overlook you by being quiet and invisible, they will overlook you. If you train people to dismiss your ideas by never sharing them with confidence, they will dismiss you. If you train people to undervalue you by undervaluing yourself, they will treat you as worthless. But the moment you change how you show up, the moment you change how you present yourself, the moment you change how you speak and move and carry yourself, the world has no choice but to respond differently. Because respect responds to energy, not to need. Respect responds to presence, not to pleading. Respect responds to authority, not to apology. The authority I'm talking about is not the kind that comes from a title or a position. It's the authority that comes from knowing who you are and refusing to accept treatment that doesn't match your value. It's the authority that comes from understanding that you don't need anyone's permission to be excellent, to be confident, or to take up space in rooms where your voice matters. Right now, you have everything within you to command the respect you've been waiting for. The question is not whether you deserve it. You already do. The question is whether you're ready to stop begging for what belongs to you and start taking your rightful place in this world. Now let me tell you something that will revolutionize how you think about respect. The respect you seek from others is nothing more than a reflection of the respect you have for yourself. You cannot give what you do not possess. You cannot command externally what you have not established internally. The world is simply a mirror showing you back the relationship you have with yourself when you truly respect yourself. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to defend it. You don't need to prove it. It shows up in how you walk into rooms. It shows up in how you speak to people. It shows up in what you will and will not tolerate. Self-respect is not arrogance. Arrogance is actually the mask that insecurity wears. Self-respect is quiet confidence that needs no validation because it validates itself. Grace discovered this truth in the most unexpected place. A classroom filled with unruly teenagers who had broken 3 teachers before her. The principal warned her that these kids came from tough backgrounds, had behavior problems, and showed no respect for authority. Previous teachers had tried everything: punishment, rewards, threats. Nothing worked. Grace walked into that classroom on her first day with a different approach. She didn't raise her voice to get attention. She didn't make threats or promises. She simply stood at the front of the room with such presence, such certainty about her value and her purpose, that the chaos gradually died down to silence. She looked each student in the eye and said, "I respect myself too much to waste my energy fighting with you. And I respect you too much to treat you like children who can't make good choices. We're going to learn together, and we're going to do it with dignity." Something shifted in that room, not because of what she said, but because of how she said it. There was no pleading in her voice, no desperation for their approval, no fear of their rejection. There was only a woman who knew exactly who she was and what she brought to the table within weeks. Those same problem students were defending Grace to other teachers. They were arriving early to class and staying late to ask questions. They were proud to be in her room because she had shown them what it looked like when someone respects themselves enough to demand excellence without apology. Grace didn't wait for those students to respect her. She created an environment where respect was the only option. By respecting herself, so completely that disrespect felt foreign and uncomfortable in her presence. This is the secret that changed everything for Grace. And it will change everything for you. Your presence is more powerful than your performance. People don't respect you because of what you do for them. They respect you because of who you are when you do it. You've been trying to earn respect through achievement, through service, through being helpful and nice and accommodating. But respect doesn't come from what you accomplish. It comes from the energy you carry while you're accomplishing it. It doesn't come from how much you give. It comes from the value you place on what you're giving. When you truly respect yourself, you stop performing for applause and start operating from authenticity. When you truly respect yourself, you stop shrinking to make others comfortable and start taking up the space that belongs to you. When you truly respect yourself, you stop explaining your worth to people who are determined not to see it. The energy of self-respect is magnetic because it's rare. Most people are walking around seeking external validation, begging for approval, hoping someone will notice their value. But when someone enters the room who already knows their worth, who already validates themselves, who already operates from a place of internal security, everyone feels it. Your conviction becomes contagious. Your certainty becomes compelling. Your presence becomes powerful, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you're not trying to impress anyone. You're simply being the authentic version of yourself. And authenticity backed by self-respect is irresistible. But here's what you must understand. Self-respect is not a feeling, it's a practice. It's not something you wait to feel, it's something you choose to do every day, with every decision, with every interaction. You either practice self-respect or you practice self-diminishment. There is no neutral ground. When you accept treatment that doesn't match your value, you're practicing self-diminishment. When you allow people to speak to you in ways you wouldn't speak to others, you're practicing self-diminishment. When you apologize for taking up space, for having needs, for existing with purpose, you're practicing self-diminishment. But when you set boundaries without apology, when you speak your truth without fear, when you walk through life like you belong everywhere you go, you're practicing self-respect. And the world has no choice but to mirror that respect back to you. Because respect, now that you understand the internal foundation, you need to know how respect is actually claimed in the real world. This is where theory meets action, where understanding becomes transformation. Because knowledge without application is just entertainment. And you didn't come here to be entertained, you came here to be changed. The first principle of claiming respect is this: you must stop asking and start stating. Most people turn their statements into questions when they want something. They say things like, could I maybe get that promotion? Or would it be possible for you to consider my idea? Or I was wondering if perhaps you might have time to listen to my suggestion. Listen to that language. It's the language of uncertainty, of self-doubt, of someone who doesn't believe they deserve what they're asking for. And when you don't believe you deserve it, why should anyone else believe you deserve it? Jerome understood this better than most people. He worked in a manufacturing plant where seniority meant everything and new ideas meant nothing. For years, he watched inefficient processes waste time and money. But he kept his observations to himself because he was just a floor worker and nobody asked for his opinion. Yes? But you didn't ask me how I started. Monday. A major production delay was costing the company thousands of dollars per hour. Management was scrambling, calling meeting after meeting, bringing in consultants, trying everything except listening to the people who actually worked with the machines every day. Jerome walked into his supervisor's office and said, the solution to our production delay is a simple adjustment in the timing sequence of machines 3 and 7. If we implement this change, we'll increase output by 22% and eliminate the bottleneck completely. I need 30 minutes to show your team how to do it. Notice what Jerome didn't do. He didn't say, I think maybe, or you might want to consider, or if it's not too much trouble. He stated the solution with certainty. He backed it with specific numbers. He asked for exactly what he needed to make it happen. The supervisor was so impressed by Jerome's confidence and clarity that he called an emergency meeting with the production team. Jerome's solution worked perfectly. Within 3 months, Jerome was promoted to floor supervisor. Within a year, he was training other plants on efficiency improvements. What changed Jerome's trajectory wasn't his technical knowledge. He had always possessed that. What changed everything was how he presented that knowledge. He stopped hoping someone would ask for his input and started providing it with authority. He stopped positioning himself as someone seeking permission and started positioning himself as someone providing solutions. This is what you must master, the art of stating your value instead of suggesting it. When you suggest, you invite rejection. When you state, you invite consideration. The difference is in the energy behind your words. But claiming respect goes beyond just how you speak. It's about how you show up consistently, especially when nobody's watching. Respect is built in the small moments, the everyday interactions, the choices you make when there's no audience to impress. When someone tries to interrupt you while you're speaking, you don't get angry or defensive. You simply pause, maintain eye contact, and continue your thought when they're finished. When someone tries to give you credit for work that isn't yours, you politely but firmly correct the record. When someone attempts to involve you in gossip or negativity, you redirect the conversation or remove yourself from it entirely. These might seem like small things, but they're actually the building blocks of respect. Each time you maintain your standards without drama, without explanation, without apology, you're training people how to interact with you. You're establishing patterns that become expectation. The most powerful aspect of claiming respect is learning to set boundaries that protect your energy and your time. Most people are afraid to set boundaries because they think it will make others angry or cause conflict. But here's what they don't understand. Boundaries don't create conflict. They prevent it. When you clearly communicate what you will and will not accept. People know where they stand with you. When you consistently enforce those boundaries without emotion or explanation, people learn to respect them automatically. When you stop being available for every request, every emergency, every drama, people start to value the time and attention you do give. Your boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They're gates that allow the right people in while keeping the wrong energy away. And when you respect your own boundaries, others have no choice but to respect them too. The key to all of this is consistency. You cannot command respect on Monday and accept disrespect on Tuesday. You cannot set boundaries in one relationship while allowing them to be violated in another. You cannot speak with authority in some situations while shrinking back in others. Respect is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Every time you choose to honor yourself, you make it easier to honor yourself the next time. Every time you speak with conviction, conviction becomes more natural. Every time you take up space without apology, taking up space becomes your default mode of operation. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think that once they start commanding respect, they can become arrogant, dismissive, or harsh with others. They think respect means building walls and pushing people away. This is not respect. This is insecurity disguised as strength. True respect elevates everyone around you, not just yourself. When you operate from genuine self-respect, you become more generous, not less. You become more patient, not more demanding. You become more understanding, not more judgmental. Because when you're secure in your own value, you don't need to diminish others to feel important. When you respect yourself, you naturally extend that same respect to others. The goal is not to become someone people fear, it's to become someone people trust. It's not to become someone who dominates others, it's to become someone who inspires others to respect themselves. It's not to become someone who demands attention, it's to become someone who naturally attracts it. This brings us to the most important part of commanding respect, understanding that with respect comes responsibility. When people respect you, they listen to your words more carefully, they watch your actions more closely, they expect more from you, and rightfully so. You become a model of what's possible. And that comes with the obligation to use your influence wisely. You cannot claim respect for yourself and then use it to tear others down. You cannot demand to be treated with dignity while treating others with contempt. You cannot ask for your voice to be heard while silencing the voices of those around you. Respect is not a weapon. It's a tool for building bridges, creating opportunities, and lifting others up. When you truly command respect, you become a magnet for other people who respect themselves. You start attracting relationships that add value to your life instead of draining it. You start receiving opportunities that match your worth instead of settling for scraps. You start living at a level that reflects your true potential instead of accepting a life that feels too small. But what happens when people test your newfound authority? Because they will test it. Some people are uncomfortable with your transformation because it forces them to look at their own lack of self-respect. Some people will challenge your boundaries because they're used to crossing them. Some people will try to pull you back down because your growth makes them confront their own stagnation. This is where your character is truly tested. This is where you prove whether you're committed to this new version of yourself or whether you'll retreat back to the old patterns when things get uncomfortable. The people who succeed in commanding lasting respect are the ones who stay consistent even when that consistency is challenged. You don't need to fight with these people. You don't need to argue with them or convince them of your worth. You simply need to remain unmovable in your standards. When someone tests your boundaries, you reinforce them calmly but firmly. When someone challenges your authority, you demonstrate it through your actions, not your words. When someone tries to disrespect you, you remove yourself from their presence rather than lowering yourself to their level. Remember, you're not trying to control how others behave. You're controlling how you respond to their behavior. You're not trying to force people to respect you. You're creating conditions where respect is the natural response to your presence. Now, let me share something with you that might be difficult to hear, but necessary to understand. There will be some people who will never respect you, no matter how you show up. Some people are so committed to seeing you as less than you are that no amount of growth, success, or transformation will change their minds. And that's okay. You are not responsible for gaining the respect of every person you encounter. You are responsible for respecting yourself so completely that the opinions of those who refuse to see your value become irrelevant to your self-worth. You are responsible for surrounding yourself with people who recognize and celebrate your worth, not wasting energy trying to convince those who are determined to remain blind to it. The beautiful thing about commanding respect is that it's contagious. When you respect yourself, you give others permission to respect themselves. When you refuse to accept poor treatment, you show others that they don't have to accept it either. When you live with dignity and purpose, you inspire others to find their own dignity and purpose. You become a living example of what's possible when someone stops waiting for permission to be valuable and starts acting like the valuable person they've always been. You become proof that respect is not something that happens to you. It's something you create through how you show up in the world. This is your moment. This is your time. This is when you stop being a victim of other people's opinions and start being the author of your own story. This is when you stop hoping for a better life and start creating it. This is when you stop waiting for respect and start taking it. The life you were born to live is waiting for the person you're about to become. That dream career you've been putting off. that relationship you've been settling for less than you deserve, that business idea you've been afraid to pursue, that goal you've been too intimidated to chase, all of it is on the other side of your decision to respect yourself enough to go after it. Your destiny is not a participation trophy. It's not something that will be handed to you because you waited long enough or suffered enough or proved yourself worthy enough. Your destiny is something you must claim with the same energy and conviction that you claim respect, boldly, confidently, and without apology. The world needs what you have to offer, but it will never receive it if you keep hiding behind excuses, fear, and the need for approval. The world needs your ideas, your talents, your perspective, your solution to problems that only you can solve. But the world will only take you seriously when you take yourself seriously. Stop shrinking, stop hiding, stop apologizing for existing with purpose and passion. The person you meant to become is not smaller than who you are now. That person is larger, bolder, more confident, more respected, and more impactful. That person doesn't wait for invitations, they create opportunities. That person doesn't hope for recognition, they make themselves impossible to ignore. That person doesn't beg for respect, they command it through every word they speak, every action they take, and every room they enter. The question is not whether you have what it takes to become that person. The question is whether you're ready to stop settling for less than that person deserves. The question is whether you're ready to stop waiting and start taking what belongs to you. Your time is now. Your moment is here. Your respect is waiting to be claimed. The only thing standing between you and the life you deserve is your decision to stop asking for permission to live it. Don't wait for respect. Take it. Your future self is counting on you. Let me leave you with this final truth that will change everything if you truly understand it. The respect you command today determines the opportunities you receive tomorrow. The way you show up in this moment creates the foundation for every moment that follows. The decision you make right now about how you will be treated sets the course for the rest of your life. When you walk out of here today, you have a choice. You can go back to the same job, the same relationships, the same circumstances, and continue accepting the same treatment you've always accepted. You can keep hoping things will change while doing nothing different to change them. You can keep waiting for others to see your value while you hide that value behind fear and self-doubt, or you can make a different choice. You can decide that today is the day you stop negotiating with people about your worth. You can decide that today is the day you stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You can decide that today is the day you start living like someone who deserves respect instead of someone who hopes for it. This choice will not be easy. Change never is. The people around you have become comfortable with the old version of you, the version that didn't speak up, that didn't set boundaries, that didn't demand excellence. When you start commanding respect, some of these people will resist. They will tell you that you've changed, and they'll say it like it's a bad thing. They will try to make you feel guilty for no longer accepting treatment that never served you. Give, some said, no, but you must remember this. Their discomfort with your growth is not your responsibility. Their need to keep you small is not your obligation to fulfill. Their fear of your transformation is not your reason to stay the same. You are not here to make others comfortable with their own lack of growth. You are here to become everything you were created to be. The moment you start respecting yourself, you will discover that the right people celebrate your transformation. The right opportunities align with your new energy. The right relationships support your growth instead of hindering it. The right circumstances respond to your elevated standards instead of dragging them down. You will find that doors open more easily when you walk through them with confidence. You will find that people listen more intently when you speak with authority. You will find that opportunities seek you out instead of you chasing after them. This is not magic. This is the natural response of a world that recognizes and rewards authentic self-respect. But here's what you must never forget. This transformation starts with one decision, but it's maintained through thousands of small choices every single day. It's choosing to speak up when you used to stay silent. It's choosing to set boundaries when you used to accept everything. It's choosing to value your time when you used to give it away freely. It's choosing to honor your worth when you used to apologize for having needs. Every morning when you wake up, you have the opportunity to practice being the respected version of yourself. Every interaction is a chance to reinforce your standards. Every challenge is an opportunity to demonstrate your commitment to honoring who you are. The world is waiting for you to claim your place in it. Not the place others think you deserve, but the place you know you belong. Not the position others are comfortable giving you, but the position that matches your true value. Not the life others expect you to live, but the life you were born to create. Your respect is not a request, it's a requirement. Your value is not a suggestion, it's a statement. Your worth is not a question, it's a fact. Now go out there and live like you know it. The world needs what you have to offer, but only if you respect yourself enough to offer it with the confidence it deserves. Take your respect, take your place, take your power. The time for waiting is over.